Well, that intro was like a throwback to 1960. Hey, thank you for joining me. This has been Ochart, and you're looking at Verde, my green terror that I picked up a couple weeks ago. And it seemed to me like he needed a tank mate. And I wanted to see really how in this case, a she, I'm thinking it's a she, at least that's what some of you said. I was wondering how she would get along with other fish. Would she play well and be a good tank mate? The good news is that she is eating well. She is starting to fill out and very healthy, very interactive with me, and very active in general. So I decided to go ahead and go out on this beautiful day in Nashville. It was 75 degrees and sunny, and I decided to go out to my favorite local fish store, the Aquatic Critter, which just happens to be about 38 to 47 minutes from me, depending on which route I choose to take. And they usually have a very good selection of fish. And there were about 5 different fish in particular that I was looking for or considering for this, for a tank mate for Verde, my green terror. So I hit the road and went off to the Aquatic Critter. And usually they're pretty busy. The parking lot was had some cars in it, not as busy as I normally see it. It was the middle of the day here, and one thing I noticed when I got there were these ponds, these goldfish and koi ponds. I didn't notice them before. I think they were just covered up during the winter or colder months, but they were certainly well stocked now with a variety of koi and other types of goldfish. Not something I'm keeping right now, and maybe some of you know more about this than I certainly do, about the whether these prices are good, but they certainly have a good selection. Small koi, $10.99. I imagine these must be the fish that get up into the 14, 15, 20 inches after a while. And quite a few of these large tanks that just line the front of the store. And the water quality in these tanks looks excellent. So they're probably circulating a tremendous amount of water and definitely keeping up on their maintenance. The health of the fish looks excellent. They had someone out here working on the tubs on these tanks. I guess you'd maybe call them mini ponds. I don't know what you'd refer to these to. These are the bigger koi. Love the ones with the tricolor, the orange, the black, the white. Very, very pretty. Going in the store, as usual, right? Nice and clean, everything nice and neat. And I decided to go ahead and take a look around and hope that I would bump into at least one of the 4 or 5 fish that I was considering as a possible tank mate. This is a display tank. Some beautiful rainbow fish in here. Nothing in there is for sale, though. That tank is just for show. Next to it, you have a rack of nano fish. At least fish that are very young. And if you have a very small nano tank, this would be the place to come. These fish are probably anywhere from roughly about on average, about a ½ inch, maybe an inch in some cases. Quite a good selection. I'm not going to cover all of them with you here, of course. We want the video to be under an hour, right? Nice guppies. Gold danios. Or glow danios. I guess you can get anything in a glow these days. Electric blue Jack Dempsey's. Boy, I still think they're beautiful. But if you go back and watch my video about what happened with mine, you'll know why I'm not going to be picking one of those up. I noticed they had a very large selection of tetras today. Maybe they had just gotten in something from their tetra source, but the tanks were just teeming and full with tetras. I once heard that black skirt tetras are good for cycling tanks. They're very rugged fish and do okay. Crebensis. Crebensis is a fish I've been interested in recently. Very pretty fish. And I was very interested in that very dark severum, but a little bit too small for my tanks. Grummy, very pretty grummy. Nice offset with those neons. Serpe tetras. Again, more tetras. Packed with tetras. These are pretty. Very pretty. Very peaceful fish. Certainly for a community, they would be great. These rummy nose are so cute. Striped tail, bright red nose. Look at these puffers. These puffers were so teeny. Like the size of your pinky nail. I mean, they were just small. Like really truly the size of a pea. Look at this tank. Packed. This is like a New York subway during rush hour. Red tail tinfoil barbs. These get pretty big, I think. I've seen some people put them in with things like cichlids. They tend to hold their own, maybe because they're so fast. Some cardinals. Very pretty. I prefer them over the neon tetras. Love the way they school. More, guess what? Tetras. White tetras, $2.99 each, not bad. It's like the Tetra Bonanza today. Love the yellow and red on these platies. If you're into live bears, very pretty. If this turquoise severum had been just a little bit bigger, I mean, look at him. He's just a little peewee, a little bit of a pup of a fish. But I would have loved to have taken that guy home. And there was some tiger barbs. They can be nippy. Look at how pretty these swordtails are. Wow. That yellow and red. Very pretty. Love the look of these fish. The red eye contrasting with the white and black on the tail. Rasboras will always have a kind of a special place in my heart. First fish I ever got was a rasbora. Red tuxedo guppies. I see one back there, all dressed up. Some more of those rummy nose. It's like a rainbow, a type of like an elongated rainbow fish. Real pretty color, like a red orange. These guys look like little red-tailed barracudas, the tank mates he has in there. Look at these guys, little Murphys. If you know the aquarium co-op, you know Murphy. These look like little mini Murphys. This is actually one fish that I would seriously consider adding to my collection. Maybe set up like a 55 to a 75, maybe something larger. Just let him live in there. Give him all the crabs and clams he wants. Now check this out. I've never seen anything like this before. The strangest looking fish. Made me think of like if a clown loach was living underneath the nuclear power plant for a while, like he'd come out looking like this. So bizarre. Look at that. It's like loach from Mars. Look at the fin on that guy. What a dorsal. That's amazing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I think they're pretty or I think they're weird. I don't know. I'm intrigued and repulsed at the same time. Look at these guys. People are really into these types of goldfish. They're kind of pretty. They would never make it just in a natural selection type of setup. They're just very slow but you can see how they've been bred for being kept as a pet. Those rainbows were pretty, and these are some pretty nice little angelfish here. But look at that rainbow, like a little turquoise blue running through the middle of the body. I'm still not seeing what I came here to get. Check this out. What the heck is that? Look at the teeth on them. It's a beautiful fish. Look at the little electric line going down the middle of the body. They had some calvus. Calvus are very uniquely shaped. They don't seem to be too aggressive. They did have some African cichlids, Some of the stuff, some of the common ones that you see, and like in most shops, it's like, mixed cichlids for a certain price. They did have some separated out. These were pretty, huh? These blue ones. Nice selection of labs, yellow labs. A red emperor cichlid. Not sure what that is. Along with a blue lip. These guys are in pretty good shape. A little small for what I'm looking for, though. I still haven't seen a single one of the fish that I'm considering. These geophagus are very nice. I think they were sold already. But look at the markings on the body. Some of my little geos, surinamensis, are starting to show some of that electric color. These fish, to me, they look like they're whistling a tune. The way their lips are sort of in a round donut shape. These little red-tailed guys, again, they look like barracudas. It doesn't look like he's whistling. Real pretty little, like little lobster-looking fish. Remind me of the crawdads we used to catch in the lakes when I was a kid. More Mabuna. The usual chase you see in an African cichlid tank. Good variety, including some OB Mabuna and the dreaded Oratus. Sedenker. Sedenker, I guess, is a special type of discus bred in Germany. These range from $100 to $200. Not something I would jump into right now unless I have the perfect discus tank set up waiting for them. Otherwise, I could end up losing a lot of money. Love these flagtails. They get really big. These are very young. I think I've seen them much, much bigger than this. Take a peek in the saltwater side, just for the heck of it. A little bit of eye candy. There's that clown trigger like the one I saw at the other shop I went to. Such a cute fish. Some damsels. I didn't realize they came in varieties. These damsels have yellow tails, but they're also considered a damsel. And they had a third type of damsel here. See them come out from the rocks there. Look at the colors on this one with the yellow belly. Very pretty. Love the markings and color on this fish here, patrolling the back of the tank. Pin cushions. Wow. I'd like to have one of those wash up into your bathing suit. No thanks. The coral display tank. Nothing's for sale in this tank. It's for display only. But look at the fish, the water quality, and the hard coral just escape in this tank. Some soft coral in there too. Just beautiful, beautiful colors. Excellent water quality. I can't imagine how many gallons they're turning over, how much water movement there is in here for all those corals. Right next to it, just to give you an idea of the perspective, we're in the back corner of the store. But look at the size of this tank. I'm thinking maybe 700 to 1,000 gallons. Got a couple of these sharks. Remind me of nurse sharks. But I think nurse sharks are a little bit wider. And they've got an eel that's like right out of a nightmare. Look at that thing. Boy, I'd hate to have that get a hold of me. No thanks. Nothing in this tank is for sale either. This guy's got to be about 2 feet long. Maybe longer. Very, very pretty. Not for sale. This has got to be the most beautiful arowana I think I've ever seen in person. There's a pink in the scales, and just the polka dots in the fins are just Beautiful. Beautiful markings in the fins, the tail, dorsal. These channel cats. I think these get really large. I think I've seen some of these at the Ohio Rescue. They get up around 3 or 4 feet and people bring them in. Then they keep growing out to 4 or 5, 6 feet. Look at this guy. This is the big pond right near the front of the store. They have a big indoor pond. Some of those rays were the size of bed sheets. More hard corals. Look at that specimen right there. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful colors. There's another display tank, not for sale. So in one row here, they have the more aggressive cichlids, and so I went ahead and walked down that row. They had some convicts. I'm kind of staying away from convicts because I've heard just they breed like rabbits. I guess maybe having one would be okay, but said they had paratilapia in here. I don't see any paratilapia, any of those starry nights, but those banded fish were sure pretty. Here's Salveni. This one Salveni in the front looked a little beat up. Not the one I'd want to buy. Definitely not the tank boss. Salveni cichlid. That was actually on my short list, but that bucktooth tetra. Wow, look at those guys. That's kind of a unique fish, huh? Bucktooth tetra. Interesting markings. Huh, another tank of Salveni. Oh, these look in much better shape. Yeah, I don't see anybody really torn to shreds. These are very young. Once they get older, they put on some beautiful color. I'd honestly consider an Oscar, and an Oscar was on my list as a possible fish, but these I think are just too small. And this red devil, apart from being very expensive, I think would just be too much of a handful. He might be a little bit too much to handle for the green terror. I want the green terror to stay in charge and not be under stress. I want him to fatten up and be healthy. These polar blue parrots, these are pretty, huh? These little convicts. Very cute. I wonder how aggressive they are. But I worked my way back to the Salveni tank. They didn't have the a manganese Jack Dempsey, which they had last time I was here. I wish I had picked one up. And they didn't have any of the regular Jack Dempseys either. So I decided to go ahead and go with the Salveni. Beautiful fish. I've been in love with them ever since I saw a picture of one in adult colors. And so I went ahead and asked them to come over, and fingers crossed, hopefully mine will look like the one you see there, a picture I took off the internet. So I had them bag them up for me, and very unusual for me to get out of a fish store for under $20. So off I went to get this guy acclimated and put in the tank, and I'm going to provide you folks with a follow-up and show you how he's doing in my next video after he's had a chance to get acquainted. But that's it for me. I appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Let YouTube know that you enjoy the content, and join me on Saturdays for a live stream, the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. It's at 11 a.m. Central on Saturdays. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. You are very appreciated. Bye-bye.